Hi, welcome back to Lawyerist Lens. Today we're going to talk about virtual receptionists. And we're going to start by talking about whether you should be even thinking about a virtual receptionist. So let's start there. Now, if you're thinking about hiring a virtual receptionist, I think the first question you have to ask yourself is how you feel about answering the phone. Do you think it's a waste of your time? Are you the kind of person who feels angry or anxious and it's an interruption and you don't like answering your own phone? Do you put it off and only answer your phone a couple of times a day? Like we addressed in a previous video why that's a bad idea. But if that's you, if you're letting a lot of calls go to voicemail, maybe you should be thinking about an answering service like a virtual receptionist. Now, if you enjoy answering your phone and you consider that part of the personal service that you provide as a lawyer, that's fine. I'm not going to try and talk you out of that. I'm assuming you've already done the analysis about whether or not you think that is a good use of your time. So if that's you, then by all means, don't hire a virtual receptionist. But otherwise, I think you should be thinking about having somebody else answer your phones. And a virtual receptionist is a great way to get started on that. Because this is somebody who can answer your phone number, from wherever they happen to be with their setup. You can help them out by telling them how you want their phone calls to be handled. You can give them instructions for what to say when they pick up the phone, how to transfer calls to you, which ones just get to go through. If you want a warm transfer for them the receptionist to talk to you first, you can have all of those options with almost every virtual receptionist. Some people have concerns about the quality of the virtual receptionist, if they're going to pronounce things right, if they're going to take care of their clients. And here's how I think about that. Like, I get focused on work and the phone rings and it's an interruption for me. And I have a hard time switching from thinking about what I'm doing to being a good, friendly, helpful voice on the other end of the phone for whoever's calling, whether it's a judge or a potential client or a current client or opposing counsel, whatever. I have a hard time making that transition. And so it helps me to have somebody else be the person who gets interrupted and picks up the phone. And then I like a warm transfer. I like the receptionist to say, hey Sam, I've got so-and-so on the phone, they're calling about this. Do you want to take the call? And I can say, no, take a message. Or I can say, you know what, let it go to voicemail. Ask them for their email address and get back to me. Whatever, I can ask them to take a message according to whatever I need, or I can say, yeah, hand it over. And the thing is, that middle conversation, talking to the receptionist, who is a friendly, helpful person, is usually enough to change my mood so that I can be in a better situation to talk to the person who's calling me so that I can be a more helpful, more positive person or get myself geared up for a fight, whatever it may be. And if I'm not ready to have that conversation, I can put it off, but they won't have just gotten a cold voicemail. So that's what I like about it. So how do you know who's right for you? Well, first of all, think about price, obviously. One thing I did early on was I thought about price wrong. I looked at the cost of a virtual receptionist and say it was $200 a month. That felt like a lot of money to me. But I don't think that's the right way to think about it. I mean, yeah, you should absolutely shop around and consider different prices, but when you hire a virtual receptionist for $200 a month, you don't have to hire an actual receptionist for thousands of dollars a month. So it's a huge savings, any way you look at it. And yeah, you should totally shop around, but like, it is a huge savings, and if it saves you, and I hate thinking in terms of like, if it saves you an hour or 2 hours at your billable rate, but it's true, right? Like if you can get back time that you don't need to spend on the phone, that's a savings. So I think most virtual receptionist services are actually quite affordable. And so you should spend your time thinking about which one has the features and services that you need in your practice. So first of all, you want to know if they answer the phone well. And the easiest way to take care of this is just to call people that use the virtual receptionist. And call the virtual receptionist themselves. If they don't answer their phones well, then they're probably not going to answer your phone well. But you can ask them for references. Ask them for law firms that you can call. And you can put yourself in the shoes of a client or a potential client and call up that law firm and see if you like it. Once you've hired the receptionist, you should do the same thing. Have a friend, a family member, your spouse, call them up and see what kind of service they get from the receptionist. I think it's good to eat your own dog food, as it were, periodically. That's a good way to do it. Also, consider the various options that you can get. Some virtual receptionists speak multiple languages, And if your clientele happens to be multilingual, then that might be an important consideration for you, or you might want to expand, or you just might want to offer services that the community needs, and so you might want to have that option at least. Another service might be intake scheduling or call scheduling or meeting scheduling. Some virtual receptionists will actually, you can give them your calendar, your availability, and they will schedule things on your calendar. Some will do more detailed intake of callers. So you can say, if it's a potential client, please give them these interview questions before you try and hand the phone to me. And so that way they can become a part of your intake process. Some people don't want that, and that's fine too. But the degree of customization and sophistication that they have on the front end might be something that you want to know about. Once you've narrowed it down to 2 or 3 options, they should all have a free trial or a money-back period. Take advantage of that and give them a test drive until you find one that meets your needs. Make sure you work with them during that time to customize the call handling procedures to what you need so they get your greeting right. They understand which calls go through to you immediately, which are warm transfers, when does the voicemail pick up, all that kind of stuff. And then once you've figured out which one is the best fit, go with that option. To help you with that, we've got a free comparison chart with all of the virtual receptionists in our portal. And that should help you narrow down which ones have the features and options and things that you need, like 24/7 call answering, different languages, the pricing structures, the call handling options like scheduling, intake, all that kind of stuff. So check out our feature chart. You can download it free and go from there.